All right, everybody. All right, breaking news, breaking news. As we get started here, go ahead and type your name in the chat box where you're listening in from. This is Bitcoin Brandon from Los Angeles, California. Brandon Ivy. As a disclaimer, I am not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share suggestion for educational and entertainment purposes only. And it is up to you to make an informed, intelligent decision on which direction you want to move into. So, today's my day off. Today is when I'm doing a lot of research. I'm doing some background follow up, handling company business, uploading my videos, editing, all that kind of stuff. I don't do any broadcasts on Friday, but Miss Laura dropped an article to me about some breaking news from the White House about regulating the crypto industry. And I said, I haven't even read this article yet, but before I do, I might as well do it live in front of everybody. Like I like to, I don't read articles just by myself. Why not turn on the camera and take you guys along the journey with me? So this is an unscheduled, unlicensed crypto talk, not just for the inner circle, but for everybody. And this is information everybody should hear, whether you like crypto or not, believe it or not, trust it or not. Your opinion, frankly, is irrelevant. This is something that is happening and we got to pay attention to because it is impacting the financial markets, so much so that the White House is doing some executive orders on this. Now, earlier in the year, beginning of the year, Joe Biden did sign an executive order asking all of the agencies to start to work together to regulate or come up with some form of regulation of this space. And I guess what just went down now is a continuation of that. Also, I've been doing a special series called The Crypto Storm is Coming, that most, if not all, people currently involved in crypto are going to lose most, if not all, of their crypto portfolio. Why? Lack of education. Lack of education is the reason why. Just like what happened with the internet, the dot-com bubble burst, there's going to be a crypto storm that's going to wipe out almost everybody. It's not going to kill it. It's going to wipe it out in the current form that you know it right now. Those who know what to do and is prepared for it will be able to not only survive it, but thrive in the future of this industry. And I say this over and over and over again. The people who are currently in crypto the most are in for the wrong reasons. They're trying to get rich quick. And they're trying to take money and look at that as that's what Bitcoin and crypto is. And that's the wrong way to look at it. As I've always been stating, you've got to look at this as not as a financial revolution, but a technological revolution. You've got to look at this from the vantage point of new technology. How can this new technology change the world? Not this is new form of money. You can't look at it from that standpoint. You're going to get yourself messed up every single time. So what is this new news that we're talking about here? And let me share screen. And I have not read this article yet. I'm going to do that live in front of all of you for this unscheduled crypto talk here. So this is CNBC. Biden White House just put out a framework on regulating crypto. So here's what's in it. All right, so let's take a look at this. I'm going to break this down. Some key points. The Biden White House has just released its first ever, that's why I had to do an emergency crypto talk, first ever framework on what crypto regulation in the US should look like. Okay, that's an interesting take on that. Not what it will look like, but what it should look like. The framework outlines the ways in which the financial services industry should evolve to make borderless transactions easier, as well as how to crack down on fraud and the digital asset space. Now, that is interesting. Normally, whenever any type of language about crypto comes out from mainstream media, they always lead with criminal activity. They didn't do so this time. This time they led with the financial services industry. And then second, they talked about a crackdown on fraud. The new guidelines follow an executive order issued in March in which President Joe Biden called on federal agencies to examine the risks and benefits of cryptocurrencies and issue official reports on their findings. So they're still in this discovery phase. Like we need to do some research. We need to gather data and information. And once we have that data and information, then we can decide which direction we want to move into. So that is what happened there. Issue official reports on their findings. The Biden White House has just released its first ever framework on what crypto regulation in the US should look like, including ways in which the financial services industry should evolve. Interesting there. Now, this is on the heels of, if you guys don't know, the Federal Reserve released their first ever proposed white paper on digitizing money. So, for those of you who still think cash is king, say goodbye to this because it's all going to be digital. So, the new directives tap the muscle of the existing regulators, such as the SEC and the CFTC, but nobody's mandating anything yet. The long-awaited direction from Washington has, however, captured the attention of both the crypto industry as a whole and of investors in this nascent asset class. The framework follows an executive order issued in March in which President Joe Biden called on federal agencies to examine the risks and benefits of cryptocurrencies and issue official reports on their findings. For 6 months, government agencies have been working to develop their own frameworks and policy recommendations to address half a dozen priorities listed in the executive order: consumer and investor protection, promoting financial stability, countering illicit finance. That's interesting there. That's the third one down. U.S. leadership in the global financial system. This is the main reason right here. U.S. leadership in the global financial system and economic competitiveness. Those of you that are part of my inner circle know that we've been covering that 87% of countries on the planet are either in development stage or have finished developing out their CBDC. If you don't know, now you know. 87% of all countries in the world are digitizing their financial system. Like I said, your opinion is irrelevant. This is happening. So but the reason why the Federal Reserve jumped on this is because if other nations are doing this, what is their goal? Their ultimate goal is to delegitimize the US dollar, to wean themselves off of US dollar as the reserve currency of the world, so that they can avoid sanctions, so that they can have independence or autonomy from US dominance and control since World War II. And their way of doing this is by moving to a digital financial system, not only internally, but so that they can do cross-border payments with each other and get around the SWIFT system, get around United States sanctions and the US petrodollar. So that represents a clear and present danger and threat to the United States. So the United States must follow suit, must answer this threat. So how does the United States answer this threat? You got to do it first. You got to play ball. So now the United States is going to be coming out with their own CBDC. Now this isn't brand new, and all of this stuff right here is show. This is show. The decision has already been made. It was made back in 2014. So everything, we just want to look into it. We just want to do some follow-up reports. We just want to kind of see what's happening. No. The decision's already been made. They're just getting all of us prepared for this. So, U.S. leadership in the global financial system and economic competitiveness. Financial inclusion. This is another key. What do you mean there, financial inclusion? You realize that about 30% of the planet is not banked, which means that not only is it not good for those not banked because you don't have access to wealth, but it also means that there's a 30% of the world population that is not under the control of the central banking system. So they want to bring them under control. So again, if you read the Fed white paper for the first time ever, do you know what they're doing? See, we don't know or understand what money is. We think that this is money. This is not. This is all we've been taught. Go to school, get good grades, get a good, safe, secure job so that you can make this to pay your bills. That ain't real money. That's only one out of three forms of money. The Federal Reserve, in their white paper, put it in plain sight. And they did that because they know most people aren't going to understand it, even if you did read it. That real money, we don't have access to. The banks have access to because the banks have banks themselves. So what the Fed is trying to do now is they're saying we're going to create a system where we're going to have the people have direct access to us. This has never been done before, where you're going to have a direct account with the Federal Reserve. Now, before you think that's a good thing, this is also another form of control, because if they digitize the dollar and you have a direct account with them, they can also freeze your account. They can pull from your account. They have full control now. You don't. See, at least if you have physical money, you can pull money out, only so much so, bury it in the ground, put it underneath your mattress, hide it somewhere. The feds don't have access to it. But the moment we move to digital, they do. So for those of you that still screaming that cash is king and is backed by the U.S. government and everything, when this goes down, you're going to wish you had crypto. The last place where you will be able to control your own finances. Now, in my series where I talk about the crypto storm is coming, one of the major ways, and I'll give this away for free, but I'm not going to give you the details, but one of the major ways where this storm is going to happen is when not only the United States government, but every government in the world is going to block the railway of crypto, meaning that if you want to spend your crypto, you still got to sell it and bring it back into your fiat currency, right? What if they block you from being able to do that? What are you going to do then? Where you're trying to sell your crypto back into US dollars and they're saying, we're not allowing that anymore. Or when you've got a crypto debit card and you've got a Visa or Master crypto debit card, you go to the store to use it, they say, oh, we don't accept that. What are you going to do? See, I talk about that in our series. And in fact, the next one is going to be October 1st, Saturday night, October 1st. The crypto storm is coming and how to prepare for it. But it's not going to kill the industry. But this is the lead way into this. Financial inclusion and responsible innovation. That's a positive thing. See, all of the businesses right now in crypto are saying, get out of the way. You're stifling innovation. We're trying to be the world leader and you're in the way, government. So this is saying we want to help responsible innovation. Together, these recommendations comprise the first whole of government approach to regulating the industry. Brian Deese, director of the National Economic Council and National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, said in a statement that the new guidelines are meant to position the country as a leader in governance of the digital assets ecosystem at home and abroad. This is the whole point. If you want to know why is the government doing this? Why are they doing this? Because of this. They want to make sure that we stay as the global leader in our governance of digital assets. Right now, we govern, lead, and dominate the physical assets. But since you can't stop the digital side, it's coming whether you like it or not. then the government's saying we got to make sure that we stay on top, that we stay the leader in the governance of this, positioning the country. Here are some of the key takeaways from the White House's new crypto framework. And guys, I don't read just to read. The way I read is to understand and break it down for you guys as well. So, fighting illicit finance. One section of the White House's new framework on crypto regulation focuses on eliminating illegal activity in the industry. Okay, now there we go, fighting illicit finance. And the measures proposed appear to have real teeth. Let me tell you right now, only less than 5% of all crypto transactions have to do with illegal activity. Where the real illegal activity in crypto is taking place is these scam crypto companies that come up and trying to use crypto as the product and guaranteeing you, 1% a day, 2% a day, 3% a day. Put $1 in the machine and pull $3 out at the end of the week, and you don't have to do no work. Recruit new people, and we're taking new money to pay old money. All that crypto BS nonsense, that illegal stuff hurts most people because that's why people are getting into crypto. They don't know what they just want to make some money because they see somebody on Facebook talking about a new company just launched, make some money. I got to tell you guys, if you want to make some serious money in crypto, the first thing you should do is invest in education. Education first. That's why it's my rule number one. Education is key. Education is everything. But that's another talk. Let's continue with this. So yeah, they want to eliminate illegal activity, and the measures proposed to appear to have real teeth. The president will evaluate whether to call upon Congress to amend the Bank Secrecy Act. What? Let me slow down here. The president will evaluate whether to call upon Congress to amend the Bank Secrecy Act, anti-tip-off statutes, and laws against unlicensed money transmitting to apply explicitly to digital asset service providers, including digital asset exchanges and NFT platforms. Here is part of it. I told you guys the crypto storm is coming. If you're one of my founding members, this should make sense to you. The president is also looking into whether to push Congress to raise the penalties for unlicensed money transmitting, as well as potentially amending certain federal statutes to allow the Department of Justice to prosecute digital asset crimes in any jurisdiction where a victim of those crimes is found. Oh, this is all. I said this again. If the government thinks a company is doing something illegal, they're not just going to go after the company. They're going to go after the promoters of those companies. So if you're in all these crap crypto programs and the government deems that it was illegal, whether it was in the United States or abroad, and you're promoting it, and you're doing all these guarantees and all this other stuff, they will go after you as well. And they're talking about increasing that. See this? They're talking about certain potentially amending certain federal statutes to allow the Department of Justice to prosecute digital asset crimes in any jurisdiction. Raise the penalty. In terms of next steps, Treasury will complete an illicit finance risk assessment on decentralized finance by the end of February 2023. Now, let me read this again. Treasury will complete an illicit finance risk assessment on the DeFi by the end of February 2023 and an assessment on NFTs by July 2023. Reads the fact sheet. So they're looking to crack down on DeFi and NFTs. So the Wild Wild West will go on for at least until February and July of next year. Crime is rife in the digital asset sector. Okay, stop right there. Crime is rife in any financial sector. Let's get that point clear. More than $1 billion in crypto has been lost to fraud since the start of 2021. Who could give me the answer to how much money has been lost to fraud in the regular financial sector? $1 billion. What does that represent? We're talking about a $1 trillion industry. 1 billion is less than 1% of the entire sector. All right. So don't let them play, the numbers on you. Yeah, $1 billion is a lot of money, but Jamie Dimon himself, they do $6 billion a day in transactions. So don't get it twisted, acting like, oh, the sky's falling. Last month, the SEC said it charged 11 people for their roles in creating. Didn't I just say this? Creating and promoting a fraudulent crypto pyramid and Ponzi scheme that raised more than $300 million from millions of retail investors worldwide, including in the United States. Meanwhile, in February, U.S. officials seized $3.6 billion worth of Bitcoin, their biggest seizure of cryptocurrencies ever, related to the 2016 hack of crypto exchange Bitfinex. Again, these numbers may look high, but there's bank branches in the world that do more fraud in a year just in their branch than this number. A new kind of digital dollar. Pay attention. Again, whether you like crypto or not, everything's going digital. The framework also points to the potential for significant benefits from a U.S. central bank digital currency, or CBDC. Oh, okay. I need to read this a little slower. I got to pay attention to this. The framework also points to the potential for significant benefits from a U.S. central bank digital currency, or CBDC, which you can think of as a digital form of the US dollar. This ain't no crypto site talking about this. This is CNBC. Pay attention. This is what's about to happen to your cash. Right now, there are several different types of digital US dollars. Really? What do you mean several different types? Sitting in commercial bank accounts across the country are electronic US dollars, which are partially backed by reserves under a system known as fractional reserve banking. As the name implies, the bank holds in its reserves a fraction of the bank's deposit liabilities. Okay, stop right there for those of you who don't get it. When you work your job and you get your money direct deposited into your bank, you can log onto your banking app and you see your money there. But if you go into the bank branch, your money is not sitting in the vault. In fact, if every person ran to the bank to pull their money out, there's not enough money to go around to support that. I learned this as a child. One of my favorite Christmas movies is It's a Wonderful Life with George Bailey and the bank's Bailey Savings and Loan. I figured my grandpa taught me that lesson, how that system works, how banks lend out money for loans for other people starting businesses, loans for people buying homes, and the banks make money off the interest of all that. I learned that as a little kid. It's stuck in my head. So what they're saying right now is that banks don't have all the money, but it's backed up by the government say so. Fractional reserves. As the name implies, the bank holds in its reserves a fraction of the bank's deposit liabilities. Transferring this form of money from one bank to another or from one country to another operates on legacy financial rails. This is the stuff you don't see, where the real power and the real money is. The reason why they removed the US dollar from the gold standard in 1971 so that they can play this game. They can just move money around and just print more money whenever they want to and never be called on it or audited on it. Now, what does happen is inflation. When you have a flood of cash in the system, you create inflation, but there really is nothing backing it. People say there's nothing backing Bitcoin. Oh, there is. It's called proof of work. Bitcoin wasn't created out of thin air. There's a cost that goes behind the creation of every Bitcoin. There is no cost that goes behind this except trust. And what happens if you lose that trust? Just look at the other countries. It's happened before, and it'll happen again. So now they're saying, we're going to take this from you, and now all you will have is trust in our system. That way, they can do more of this. If it's digital, they can do more of this and get away with it. There are also a spate of USD-pegged stablecoins, including Tether and USD Coin. Now, in my series, The Crypto Storm is Coming, I tell you one of the major things that's going to cause the entire cryptocurrency market to crash. Tether. Now, you got to listen to my series to know why. But Tether, one of my biggest, it's not a fear. It's just one of the things I know that when this goes down, and it will, in my opinion, is not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when this goes down. Although critics have questioned whether Tether has enough dollar reserves to back its currency, it remains the largest stablecoin on the planet. USD Coin is backed by fully reserved assets. Now, I switched. I don't use Tether anymore. I use USDC. But this one is audited. USD Coin is backed by fully reserved assets, redeemable on a one-to-one basis. So here's my problem and my concern. We look at Tether. Tether has so-called 67 billion market cap, which means that they say they have 67 billion in reserve assets. I don't believe it. What happened with Terra Luna a couple of months ago? That was 45 billion. Gone. Got depegged from the one-to-one to the dollar. And look what happened to the market after that. It deepened the crypto winter that we're experiencing right now. When Tether goes down, it's gonna be Armageddon. It's gonna be bloody Monday, or whatever you want to call it in the crypto charts. USD Coin has a $50 billion market cap, and they actually do have those reserves backing it. It's been audited. All right, let me go back. I find this interesting that this is CNBC is reporting this. And so far, I'm reading this. So far, everything is accurate. I don't see any, what do the kids call it? No cap? No, that don't even sound right coming out of my lips. No lie. So let me read this part again. USD Coin is backed by fully reserved assets, redeemable on a one-to-one basis for US dollars, and governed by Cinter, a consortium of regulated financial institutions. It is also relatively easy to use no matter where you are. Then there's the hypothetical digital dollar that would be the Federal Reserve's take on a CBDC. It would be called the Fed coin. If Donald Trump wins re-election in 2024, he'll call it the Trump coin. Whatever you want to call it, it's coming. It's not only coming, it's already here. This would essentially just be a digital twin of the US dollar, fully regulated under a central authority and with the full faith and backing of the country's central bank. So those who love and believe in the US dollar, you're going to love and believe in the CBDC because it's only a digitized version of it. It's the same thing. And most of us are already in a cashless society anyway. A dollar in CBDC form is a liability of the central bank. The Federal Reserve has to pay you back, said Ronit Ghose, who heads fintech and digital assets at Citi Global Insights. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell previously said The main incentive for the US to launch its own central bank digital currency would be to eliminate the use case for crypto coins in America. Isn't that interesting? However, that's not the truth. That's not the only truth. And that's not the reason why they're doing this. Their goal is not to try to eliminate the use case of crypto. The reason why they're doing this is to stay on top and eliminate the competition coming out of Russia and China that's really threatened the US dollar's global dominance. That's the real reason. All right. Don't let this gaslighting trip you up. You wouldn't need stable coins. You wouldn't need cryptocurrencies if you had a digital US currency. That's not true, Powell said. I think that's one of the stronger arguments in its favor. This is only true for the uneducated. For those people that don't even understand that there's a difference between digital coins and crypto coins, he is playing on your ignorance by saying, since people don't even understand crypto, they don't trust it. If we come out with a digital coin, then people will trust that because it's backed by us. So he's playing on the ignorance of people. I am not uneducated in this space, so I can see right through this. In the White House's new framework, it points to the fact that a US CBDC could enable a payment system that is more efficient, provides a foundation for further technological innovation, facilitates faster cross-border transactions, and is environmentally sustainable. All of that is true except this last part here. Environmentally sustainable. No, you're still going to need to use more energy. And what is the big reasons that you want to jump on Bitcoin? You're saying Bitcoin uses too much energy. Well, what do you think the digital dollar is going to do? It's going to use up more energy. So they just threw that one in there. But the rest of this stuff is true. It will be more efficient because we won't have to carry cash around and safely. Do you know that, I forgot what that study was, that said 80% or 90% of US dollars is laced, has some form of drug, methamphetamine or cocaine or whatever, traces of it. This is why you should always wash your hands after you're handling money. Did you know that? What about the time we had a coin shortage? You know, they said you got to use exact change because they don't have change in the grocery stores. You're only going to start seeing these in museums. Like if you go to the Museum of London and on the wall, the history of money. That's where the money's going to be. It's going to be up on a wall soon. It could promote financial inclusion and equity by enabling access for a broad set of consumers. That part is true. You know, you go to certain lower income neighborhoods and there are no banks, but you do see next to the liquor store check cashing places, right? Because a lot of people don't have bank accounts. Well, now everybody can have a digital account. But the question is, do you want to? Because if you're not, the same thing in crypto is the same thing in the US or physical money. If you do not have physical control of this, it is not your money. I don't care what the bank says. Well, my bank statement says I got 50,000 in there. Really? No, they have your 50,000. They're just allowing you access to it, but they can stop that whenever they want to. Unless you got the 50,000 in your possession, you ain't got it. Just like crypto. If you got your crypto sitting on an exchange or a custodial, it ain't yours. You got to own the private key. Now, what they're telling us, this is going to be, in my opinion, the biggest robbery since 1971 when they took the dollar off the gold standard. If they move all of our money to digital, they just robbed everybody. What do you mean, Brandon? Wait and see. If you still don't get it, you got to become an inner circle and listen to me more, and I'll break it down to you. But to that end, the administration urges the Fed to continue its ongoing research, experimentation, and evaluation of CBDC. Stop right here. What do you mean experimentation? Oh, yeah. You didn't know this is already being implemented? Just look at Jamie Dimon. He's already implemented a CBDC for his bank. but you don't have access to it. It's internal for the wealthy. They're using it, not you, the rest of us. They're using it. The decision has already been made. Safeguarding financial stability. Okay. Central bankers and U.S. lawmakers have for years bemoaned the rise of stablecoins. Really? A specific subset of cryptocurrencies that have a value pegged to a real world asset, such as a fiat currency like the US dollar or a commodity like gold. These non governmental digital coins, digital tokens, that's the problem right there. Non governmental digital tokens are increasingly being used in domestic and international transactions, which is scary for central banks because they don't have a say in how this space is regulated. That is true. In May, the collapse of Terra USD, one of the most popular US dollar pegged stablecoin projects, cost investors tens of billions of dollars as they pulled out in a panic that some have compared to a bank run. Widespread buy in and public PSAs from respected financial institutions lent credibility to the project, further driving the narrative that the whole thing was legit. The implosion of the stablecoin project led to a series of insolvencies that erased nearly $600 billion in wealth, according to the White House. Digital assets and the mainstream financial system are becoming increasingly intertwined, creating channels for turmoil to have spillover effects, according to the White House fact sheet. The framework goes on to single out stablecoins, warning that they could create disruptive runs if not paired with appropriate regulation. I agree with that 100%. To make stablecoins safer, the administration says the Treasury will work with financial institutions to bolster their capacity to identify and mitigate cyber vulnerabilities by sharing information and promoting a wide range of data sets and analytical tools, as well as team up with other agencies to identify, track, and analyze emerging strategic risks that relate to digital asset markets. That's an interesting statement. Instead of saying we're looking to shut down all stablecoins, they're saying the Treasury will work with financial institutions to bolster their capacity to identify and mitigate cyber vulnerabilities by sharing information. Interesting. Those efforts will also happen in concert with international allies. Look at there. International allies. That ain't Russia and China, including the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development and the Financial Stability Board. This is a very it was about 95% accurate article. This is very telling. And this is something that will impact 100% of all Americans. This is when I always say blockchain technology is going to revolutionize and disrupt every single industry on the planet today, whether you like it or not, believe it or not, trust it or not, your opinion is irrelevant. Here's another way. This is happening without your consent. And whether you believe it or not, you will be impacted when they take your money away and say you now have digital money. What you going to do? Education is key. Education is everything. If you are not part of our crypto talks and inner circle, this is the kind of stuff that we do on a daily basis to help you prepare to safeguard your financial portfolio. The Dow market, the financial market, dropped 1,300 points the other day. The other markets followed suit. Were you prepared for that? We cover this stuff. If you want to be in the inner circle, to be able to get this type of information so that you can act upon and educate yourself, ilcasecrets.com. ilcasecrets.com. Let me put that in the scrolling. ilcasecrets.com. If you are tired of all the crypto scams that's out there, of losing money, of all these promises and guarantees, I implore you to get education first so that you know what to look out for. You know what to avoid or what you can get in. You have your risk assessment. We invite you to be a part of our community. We do a 5-day challenge that's free every month, once a month. Get at least educated. Whether or not you want to be involved or not, at least know what's going on. 5-day challenge. The next one is on September 26th. For 1 hour a day every week, each week, we're going to be talking about a specific topic. And we're switching it up this month. Night one, instead of talking about Satoshi Nakamoto, we're going to be talking about what is cryptocurrency. So if you ever wanted to know what it is and how to be involved, and you don't know where to go looking on YouTube and freaking Google, register for free. ILCAchallenge.com. ILCAchallenge.com. There's no cost. But I ain't free. My knowledge, my experience, and my company, we offer far more than something for free. We prepare you to know 4 rules. Number 1, education is key. Education is everything. Number 2, don't invest money you can't afford to lose. Number 3, always get your return on investment back as fast as possible. And number 4, what is your strategy, short-term and long-term? Where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What are you willing to do to make that happen? Find a vehicle, stay focused, take action, do not get distracted. Now, this is not a promise for success. This is not a guarantee of riches. This is not a guarantee that you're not going to have failure. You still will have risk. You will at least just minimize your risk. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the most that you can ask for. So when someone says, why should I pay for your crypto education? I'm a Morehouse man. You know how much money I paid to get that degree? When I could have just gone to Google and YouTube? Well, they didn't have internet back then. The library. When you buy a multi-million-dollar home, do you put a $5 Data and Craig top flight security system on it, or do you want Fort Knox? Your education is your security, because your education will prevent you from losing $250,000 on a stupid move because you were your ego was too big for you to get crypto educated first. That's why I said, I don't care who you are, without education, in the next 3 to 5 years, you will lose most, if not all, of your portfolio. And how can I guarantee that? Because I've been around for 6 years in crypto now, and I have enough evidence, personal experience, and observation to witness it. I see a pattern here, but I see the ones that it's not. Oh, you're still going to lose money, but the ones that survive are those that actually invested in their education. Do you know the cost? I'll tell you up front. The cost to get everything that I offer is about $1,300 one time. That's the cost of everything I have to offer. And then $29 a month. And if you're telling me that you spent 30, 40, 50,000 on some crap crypto company, but somehow 1,300 to get educated is too much for you, you deserve to lose all the money you got. I have no sympathy for you. I empathize with you because I know that hurts, but I don't sympathize with you because you could have done something about it and you chose not to. Can't do nothing for you. So I will be doing another crypto talk tomorrow morning for the community. I do it every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. The topic is going to be the Ethereum merge. They move from proof of work to proof of stake. So we're going to talk about, what does that mean? What are the results? What is that going to look like in the future? What's going on? So we're going to talk about that tomorrow morning. And then we're back to the inner circle. So if you want to be able to get these crypto talks on a daily basis, ilcasecrets.com, become a member of our community and save yourself some money in the process. With that, thank you guys for listening. This is important breaking information. I will be back tomorrow morning. I'm going back to enjoy the rest of my Friday, get my wing stop, and chill. Take care, everybody. Bitcoin Brandon out. Bye-bye.